Oh, hello there, Trainiacs. Nice little recovery ride today. What I have cooked up for you now is a multi-part series addressing just basic bike fitting setup. We're gonna go through saddle height, we're gonna go through saddle fore and aft, we're gonna go through setting up your front end, and all how to make yourself comfortable so that you can get as aerodynamic as possible for as long as possible, and that is what's gonna make you as fast as possible on the bike. So all right, Trainiacs, I'm going to preface this bike fitting series by saying that I am not a certified bike fitter. If you have problems that are very painful, very specific to you, something that is more intense than just maybe a little bit of a nagging injury or just wanting to get your bike fit in, say, the right realm of the fit that you should definitely go see a certified bike fitter from a bike shop. What we're going to talk about here is just general bike fitting with 3 touch points. You touch the bike on your pedals, on your seat, and on the elbow pads and the bars. So we're going to address those 3 points, but when it comes to getting right dialed in specifically for you, go see a bike fitter. Also, this series is going to be accompanied by a free download that you can get by going to triathlontaren.com/bike-fit. So if there are images and things that you want to make sure that you save so that you can kind of put them on your phone and match it up to what you are seeing, all of that is going to be in that free download, which is at triathlontaren.com/bike-fit. Today in this first video, we are going to start off with the placement of the saddle, up and down, fore and aft. If you have lower back pain, knee pain, or severe saddle sores, odds are that your saddle height or forward and backward position are not dialed in properly. The saddle height is probably the easiest of the up and down, forward and backward saddle positions to figure out. In general, get the crank arm to the very bottom of the pedal stroke so that the crank arm is completely vertical. And as a starting point, you want the saddle height set so that at your legs full extension, about as stretched out as you can possibly make it, your heel is just barely grazing the top of the pedal. From that point, you've got about 1 inch of room down. And that 1 inch is about the ballpark that you want to be in. So that top is your top limit, but if you find that you start having lower back pain, you start having knee pain, gradually bring it down to a point that feels comfortable. John Cobb, the founder of Cobb Saddles, who himself is an amazing bike fitter, is probably one of the guys that pioneered it in the industry, said that as much as that inch lower is still a really good spot for people that have aches and pains to be in. So if you're able to get somebody looking at you from behind, what you want to see is a saddle height that allows your hips to not rock up and down side to side. If the saddle height is too high, you're going to have to push and stretch your hips to get to the bottom of the pedal stroke. So you want everything nice and level in the hips and the shoulders. And even this, I would say that there's probably just a touch too much rocking side to side for me, and I can work on just being a little bit more steady. Next, when it comes to saddle selection, there is no best saddle. A lot of people swear by split nose saddles. A lot of people swear by flat saddles. It's very, very personal. A lot of triathletes will do better with a split nose saddle, and that's because saddles are built for you to be upright on a road bike. When you end up tilting forward, all that pressure that was on your sit bones ends up rotating onto your pelvis. And if you don't spread that load across your sit bones and your structure properly, there's going to be a lot of pressure right into your pelvis and basically your undercarriage. So a split nose saddle might help. A flat saddle might also help. A rounded saddle might help. Some guidelines that you can work with are rounded saddles tend to be for people that have a very rounded lower back. Flat saddles tend to be for people that have a very flat lower back. When you go into a bike shop to select a saddle, what you want is basically just like a memory foam pad that you can sit on, and they'll be able to see where your sit bones line up. And the width of those sit bones will be a guideline for how wide or narrow your saddle should be. And then beyond that, the only thing that you can do is just try a whole bunch of saddles and see what works. And then one big caveat to all this is that females will have different requirements for saddles because they are built different anatomically. There are quite a few saddle manufacturers that are starting to make female-specific saddles, Cobb being one of them, and I've heard that the structure of their saddles complements a woman's area much better than a lot of other saddles. So if you tend to have very tender parts and you are a female, take a look at Cobb saddles and the female-specific saddles that are out there. And then finally, when it comes to putting your saddle fore and aft, forward and backward in the right position, that's where you start looking from the side, and you can put a mirror off to the side, and you want to be looking at your leg at full extension. You want it basically as vertical as you possibly can. What you really don't want is a line that's going forward, because that line that's going forward means that your hip angle is closing, and as triathletes, that's going to put a lot of pressure on our glutes. It's going to imbalance the muscle fatigue that happens, so that when we get off the bike, our glutes are going to be so toast that they're not going to be able to fire properly. They're going to cause our quads to work a lot more, and they're probably going to cramp up. So what you're looking for is basically as vertical a line as possible to get your hips forward and open up that hip angle. So there you go, Trainiacs. That is saddle positioning. In the next video, we're going to talk about the contact point to the pedal and how to set up your cycling or triathlon shoe with the cleat and potentially an insole on the inside. You can check out that next video right up here. You can check out the full playlist for all the bike fitting down here. And as I mentioned, go to triathlontaren.com/bikefit for the free download that'll give you some images and more resources that'll help you make this a little bit easier for you. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. If you are subscribed, treat yourself to something special, because I like it.